Now, once the summary of the fixed assets is done, you must always move on to the next step, which is interest, dividends, and taxation. Now, in this question, there's only interest paid, so we don't have to worry about interest received. There might be an income from investments, but in this question, there isn't. We have an opening balance plus a P&L charge minus the amount paid, and that's equal to my closing balance. You will see from the question there is no opening or closing balance for interest. There is no opening or closing balance for dividends. There's an opening balance of 47,000 and a closing balance of 55,000 for taxation. Now, the P&L charge for interest, that we had debentures of 180,000 for the whole year at 10%, which is 18,000. So the balancing figure then is the amount paid. So that gives us a closing balance of 0. Dividends paid is 55,000. Therefore, because we had no opening balance and no closing balance, the P&L charge, or the balancing figure here, of 55,000. And for taxation then, we're told that the P&L charge for tax was 65,000. So 47,000 plus 65,000 minus a closing balance of 55,000 means we paid 57,000. Now, the P&L charge, we need that for the profit and loss account, and then the cash flows for the cash flow statement. Okay, this is, now you must always do this regardless of whether there's a zero opening or zero closing balance. To move on now, we must do an abridged profit and loss account. So we have to key in, so the abridged profit and loss account for year ending the 31st of 12/14. So you have your operating profit, you have your interest, gives you profit before tax, minus tax gives you profit after tax, minus dividends gives you retained profit, plus your profit and loss balance at the start of the year gives you your profit and loss balance at the end of the year. And you can see then that I've just filled in the figures that we have already obtained. The 361,500 comes in the P&L balance in the question, and likewise with the opening balance 356,500. The dividends and tax and interest that you see there are all coming from the previous working. Now we have to work backwards to get the abridged profit and loss account. So 361,500 minus 356,500 gives me 5,000. So my retained profit for the year is 5,000. So you slot that in, not where I have written it, but just under the minus 55,000. So that means that our profit before tax was 5,000 plus 55,000, which gives me 60,000. Remember, we're working backwards. The 60,000 plus tax of 65,000 gives me a profit before tax of 125,000, plus the 18,000 gives me an operating profit of 143,000. We are now in a position, right, to start the question properly.